The next step is to write out our kinematics equations in each direction. Now when writing these out, you'll notice that there are two initial velocities, one for the x direction and one for the y direction. However, in this question, we are given only one value for initial velocity, 45 meters per second. But this is a velocity that points in both the x and y direction. The trick here is to break up the initial velocity into separate x and y components by making a right triangle and using trig functions. So here the initial velocity in the x direction is 45 cosine of 16 degrees, while the initial velocity in the y direction is 45 sine of 16 degrees. Next, we plug in for the variables we know and see how to solve for the variable we don't know, which is the final y position. Starting in the x direction, we're looking for when the ball has made it to the fence, so x final is going to be 100. We're then going to call our initial position equal to 0 and plug in our value for the initial velocity. Looking at the acceleration in the x direction, this is also going to be 0 because there are no forces acting on the ball in the x direction, and by F equals ma, if the net force is 0, so is the acceleration.